Arbortex is part of the PTC family of products and enables you to create, edit, manage, publish, and deliver service and parts catalog content. PTC is a global company. We have over 6,000 employees and over 30,000 customers in more than 30 years, enabling industrial enterprises to design, manufacture, operate, and service things. The Arbortex product line was founded in 1982 and acquired by PTC in 2005. PTC maintains Arbortex in a business unit that is solely focused on goals and solutions of creating and managing and delivering technical information for service. Our goal is to make it simple, make it smart, in regards to how we create content and deliver information to the folks that need it. At PTC, we describe the process as part of a digital thread. This is the idea that we create a single flow of data and resources that will enable the linking of content all the way down to as it pertains to someone in the field. For example, we start with a single source of engineering, CAD data, or a bill of material as it flows down through the business process. We'd like to have it available to the folks creating technical information or service content who want to link our sources and manage the approach of delivering out to people in the field, whether they are a technician or someone at home who might need to look at service content or service information. Some of the challenges for creating technical information, whether it is for written documentation or illustrated parts catalog, be very manual effort, meaning that if a change needs to happen or a new piece of content needs to be created, this can be starting from scratch in a completely unlinked type of environment. That can lead to poor document quality and also creates very monolithic documentation that get very difficult to parse down or reuse for other documents. Another challenge that comes up is if we have documentation that follows this kind of traditional approach, things like language translation can become very costly as we make a change that requires the submission of the entire document again for a new version to be translated. The business challenges that include inaccessible documentation, meaning that our content does not pertain to specifically in its delivery. It becomes outdated because we have no way to link it back to changes within the source content. Ultimately, that results in the lost business opportunities, and especially through the lens of the service procedures or finding parts that we can order to repair equipment out in the field. Going back to the idea of the digital thread, as we whittle it down to the service information use case, the goal here is that we want accurate information, again, a single source of content that will link out to other business systems. If we service our parts against the bill of material, we link and manage that bill of material as we're creating our service content. Ultimately, we need to be accurate in both the contextual forms and visually when creating illustrations for our end users to reference this content. All of this happens within the product development cycle. This is the goal of our solution, the enablement of the tools for the creation of service and parts catalog content. We categorize our solution up into different areas for the creation and management and delivery of service content. The creation side, this is where we write our documentation in XML. This is also where we develop style sheets and we have illustration creation tools for working with content starting with CAD data sources. On the management side, we leverage PTC Windchill solutions for our product lifecycle management tool set that includes things like version control and workflow tool sets. We have additional tools that can sit on top of that solution, specifically technical information. This includes language translation management and the creation of service parts catalog from the bill of material. On the delivery side, we need to get the authored information to the folks that want to use it. Without the delivery part of our solution, are handy and useful, but they don't serve a real purpose. This is a big focus. We support publishing of content to traditional file formats like HTML, PDF, and as we also have our own delivery portal. He is one-stop shop for looking up service information as well as things like illustrated parts catalogs, and we certainly also support PTC's vision for virtual and augmented reality for delivery of service content as it would come out of our creation and management tool sets. The last slide I have here is the same overview of the creation management delivery that just shows some of our product names that would fit within these categories. The solution would encompass multiple roles and multiple tool sets and can be paired to your specific needs in terms of strictly documentation, or just looking for illustration management, or you only need to create parts catalogs, or just looking for a delivery solution. The Arbortext business unit covers the end-to-end seamless integration that allows you to create, edit, manage, publish, and deliver XML and parts catalog content for your business. Increase your efficiency to create, manage, and publish parts catalog and technical content and reduce your translation costs. Windshield service parts information and instructions. Manage context-specific parts catalog and service information to facilitate information reuse, streamline change management, enable delivery of configuration-based parts catalog and technical publications. The Windshield Service Parts Information and Instructions add-on improves service operations efficiency and effectiveness by enabling parts catalog and service information to be organized and optimized for accuracy, applicability, and rich graphics-driven delivery. This add-on requires the Windshield Premium or Windshield Advanced license as a prerequisite. To operate and service products effectively and efficiently throughout their life cycle, support organizations and end users require accurate, relevant, and timely parts catalog and service information. Recognizing the critical role parts catalog and service information plays in driving business success, more and more manufacturers are regarding service and support operations as competitive differentiators to service as a profit center rather than a cost center. BOM transformation provides an equivalent link for you to create EBOM, MBOM to downstream service bills of material. The SBOM is a new structure while still retaining the quantity of parts and the 3D location of the CAD visualization. The transformation process from engineering to service includes 4 steps. Step 1 is the BOM transformation from an upstream EBOM or MBOM to a service bill of material. Step 2 is the automated creation of the parts list from each assembly in the service bill of material. Step 3 is the creation of the illustration from the visualization files that have been generated from the engineering CAD or the use of legacy drawings. And step 4 is the publishing of the parts catalog to multiple file formats, HTML, PDF, XML, and the reuse in technical documentation. In the following demonstration, we'll go through the examples of these steps.
Windshield Service Information Manager has the ability to manage a variety of bill of material structures, whether those are engineering, manufacturing, or service driven. Because we're managing all of this information in a single repository, we have the ability to create associative links throughout the system to ensure accurate and up-to-date parts information. In this case here, we're going to navigate to a front suspension CAD model for our Polaris data. Navigating to this model, we can see important attribute information that goes along with this CAD data, where used or related object information, as well as visualization and bill of material structures. Navigating to our Indy front suspension engineering bill of material, we have the ability to jump to a structure page and physically see what this bill of material and CAD geometry looks like. On the left-hand side of the screen, I have my full bill of material structure as designed by an engineer. You can see that under my top level node, I also have my CAD documents that represent each one of these appropriate BOM objects. And I have the visualization on the right side of the screen that I can pan, zoom, and interact with. In this case here, we will use our upstream bill of material from engineering as designed and transform it into something more applicable to support service of the product. We'll be creating a downstream service bill of material that would be used to support part catalog information with the latest and most up-to-date engineering data. We will be using Windchill Service Parts Solution to open up our upstream bill of material structure and leverage side-by-side BOM transformation capabilities to create our downstream service bill of material. On the left-hand side of the screen, you can see our upstream bill of material structure. We also have visualization down at the bottom to indicate to the user what the engineering or upstream bill of material structure actually looks like. On the right-hand side of the screen, you can see that we have our downstream bill of material structure. This is our service bill of material. Again, we also have visualization of what this overall structure looks like. Visually, you can see that they are different. Selecting on any object in the upstream structure allows us to easily navigate and find the appropriate information in the downstream service BOM because they are related. Notice that selecting on the toe on the engineering side allows me to navigate quickly and easily to the related toe components on the downstream service BOM side, indicating that there are a variety of color options available. In this case here, we're going to go ahead and navigate to our bill of material structures. Within Windchill Service Information Manager, at any point, I have the ability to change my overall filter or how I'm looking at the bill of material to a different view. In this case, we're changing it from design to service. Selecting the OK button toggles between the different views and displays the overall BOM structure on the left-hand side of the screen and the visualization on the right-hand side. As a user, I can navigate and interrogate any one of the objects in the service bill of material structure. Let's go ahead and navigate down to our ski assembly. In this case here, we're looking at a service view of our ski assembly. This was derived by maybe a service engineer and organized in a specific way in which we'll provide illustration content and part catalog information about this particular assembly. By selecting on any one of the nodes in the service BOM, I can very quickly and easily generate parts list information within Windchill Service Information Manager. This object already has a parts list associated to it, so let's go ahead and navigate to it. Navigating down to the parts list level, I have the ability to, again, look at attribute information that might describe my parts list, as well as structure information. Within our structure page of our parts list, we have the ability to view not only the visualization of the parts list and all the geometry contained within the parts list, but we also have the ability to view other types of information. For example, if I go ahead and select on any one of the color variants to the toe in the ski assembly, you can see that they highlight. I can also view illustration content. If illustrations have been created and tagged to this appropriate parts list, I can quickly flip my visualization to view that type of content. In this case here, this is a 3D animation that was created with PTC Creo Illustrate. Within our parts list, we also have the ability to jump to an itemized table. A user can come in and quickly identify and change or edit the values within the itemized table and drive bomb balloons from Windchill Service Information Manager into the illustrations themselves. In this case here, we have an overloaded parts list. We have a variety of different types of color options within this parts list. We have the ability within Windchill Service Information Manager to create queries or applicability and optionality within our parts. Notice that I changed the view and told the system I only want to look at information that pertains to the bright white color option. All other components that do not apply to that option will be removed, and I'm only viewing configuration-specific part information. Navigating to our Representation and Annotations tab, we're going to go ahead and log in and use Creo View to view our published parts list. Windchill Service Information Manager works alongside with the Arbortext publishing engine to create a very rich output of our part information. Here you can see that it has taken the illustration and published the illustration along with our part information and itemized table down at the bottom.
In the next demonstration, we'll take a look at the PLM for service using service parts information and instructions to create, manage, and deliver service parts catalogs and technical documentation.
Windchill Service Information Manager can be the source of the storage and management of all things service related about your products. Here we're going to go ahead and navigate to what we call a product hierarchy. Product hierarchies can be set up within Windchill Service Information Manager to help us easily identify and organize our products from a family, type, and model breakdown. When taking a look at the product hierarchy, we can see that we have a variety of different types of products being displayed. We're going to be focusing on the Polaris product. Selecting on the product shows us visual indication of what the product actually is, and we can dig down further into that product and view types of information that might represent the Polaris product. Off-road vehicles, motorcycles, snow equipment, etc., etc. Let's navigate further down into our snowmobiles. As you can see, when we navigate into the snowmobiles, we have year information, whether it's 2017, 2018, as well as model information. This allows us within Windchill Sim to organize our products in a way in which it makes sense on how we want to deliver that information out to the field. Once we've created these types of structures, we can then start relating all of our service information that pertains to each individual year and model of that product to this product hierarchy. Windchill Service Information Manager also gives us access to what we call information structures. Information structures are essentially an encyclopedia of all service and parts information about your product. Users can create these structures in a variety of different types of ways in which we break the product down into systems and subsystems. Navigating to the information structure shows us that we have a variety of different forms of information about our snow product or snowmobile. This information is related directly to that product hierarchy and the models that fall under that product hierarchy. The user has the ability to expand out each individual section and view the documentation, part information, even illustrations about that type of content. Let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of these objects. Windshield Service Information Manager allows us to store and manage PDF information or legacy documentation. So any kind of legacy documentation can be managed, version and iteration controlled within Windshield Sim and related directly to your product information. Navigating to this PDF, we can use Creo View to view what the PDF actually looks like. As we scroll through the document, you can see here that I have all my different pages, bookmark information, and so forth for me to easily view the information. Navigating back to the information structure, we're going to go ahead and look at another piece of content. Within our information structure, we also have the ability to not only manage legacy documentation such as PDFs, but also illustrations, XML that might be authored, as well as part information. We're now going to go ahead and navigate to an illustration. Service Information Manager allows you to manage all of your technical illustrations, whether they are created and published out to a 2D format or even a 3D format. We also have the ability, if those graphics or illustrations are used in a variety of XML documents, to see exactly where those components are being used and perform impact analysis. Using Creo View again, we're going to go ahead and load up our 3D illustration. These illustrations were created with PTC's Creo Illustrate. Within PTC Creo Illustrate, we can import in the CAD model and the visualization of the CAD model, and use that information to quickly and easily create 2D and 3D technical illustrations. Those types of illustrations can then be used downstream, whether you choose to use them in downstream XML documentation or even in augmented reality experiences. In this case here, we have an animation. Let's go ahead and play the animation and see what actually happens. Within this animation, you can see that we're actually disassembling the CAD geometry, and we use Creo Illustrate to create this overall animation. This might indicate to a technician out in the field or even a product owner how to disassemble the product. Navigating back to the information structure, let's go ahead and take a look at some other objects within the steering group. Here we have selected what we call a parts list. Parts list can be created and managed within Windshield Service Information Manager. Essentially, we take an engineering bill of material, create a downstream service bill of material, and link that information together. Once we've derived a service bill of material that is applicable to the service organization and maybe how we want to sell the product or service the product, we can then derive part list information. Looking at our parts list, you can see we have an itemized table. In that itemized table, I have a variety of different types of parts, and I can also view illustrations that might have been created based off of this CAD geometry. Again, we can use Creo Illustrate to create the illustrations, or even IsoDraw, a 2D illustration tool. Notice in this example that we have a variety of parts that are different in color. We can represent optionality within our parts and documentation within Windshield Service Information Manager, and choose to create and publish content so that it is context and configuration specific. Again, we're going to go ahead and use Creo View to look at our parts list. When you create a service bill of material and an associated parts list with an illustration, Windchill Service Information Manager, along with our Arbortext publishing engine, will publish the content out to a variety of different types of formats, whether you're looking for PDF or even HTML. Back on our information structure page, let's navigate to one more object. Here we're going to jump to our Ski Service Procedure XML document. We are using Arbortext Editor, which is PTC's XML authoring solution, and through a direct connection to Windchill Service Information Manager, as an author, I can open the XML documentation to view the information, as well as edit and make changes to the information. Within this XML document, you are going to see that we actually have illustration content from Creo Illustrate embedded within the XML itself. These illustrations are dynamic in a way in which an author can go in, pick and choose which illustrations they actually want to use, as well as even play animations if those animations are embedded within that content.
PTC Arbortext Content Delivery is an electronic parts catalog and content delivery solution. In the context of a product, we select on a product hierarchy and navigate through the product families to the specific model in which we want to select. In this case, we select on the year and the appropriate family of the switchback, and we'll select on the Switchback Assault 144. And we now are displaying the information structure. This is the same information structure that we created in Windchill, in Service, Parts, Information, and Instructions. And we have various different documents in which we can filter. I'm going to select on a parts list. This parts list opens and shows us the steering assembly, and specifically the ski and all the different colored plastic toe parts. We can interact with the parts list by selecting in the illustration or the parts list, and either one will highlight interactively. In addition, we can select on an item, in this case item number 1, and it highlights all of the item number 1s. There are many different item number 1s because they have different color options. We also can integrate to a back-end ERP system or business system to show pricing and availability for those individual parts. We can add the item to a shopping cart or a pick list, and we can change its quantities, and then we can go ahead and fulfill our shopping cart order by going to the actual shopping cart when we're ready to go ahead and check out. Additional information can be found on individual parts, and we can also interact with the 3D individual parts information. In this example, we can navigate and we can see the WebGL viewer and spin and interact with that 3D model. Or we can also filter our parts list. In this example, we're going to select on a specific color, and we'll see that the illustration, in this case, the parts list does filter, and we can see that there's the lime squeeze. The illustration is an SVG, and it's going to show us all the colors. If we go to the 3D of this illustration, it dynamically updates the illustration and filters only the parts that are applicable. In this case, we see the lime squeeze color of that toe, and all the other toes are not being displayed because the parts list has been filtered by that color. We'll go ahead and add a couple of those parts into our shopping cart. We can look at a skeg. This is a subassembly. We can navigate to subassemblies from upper level assemblies or parts list. And this example has the skeg and it has the nuts and washers. We can add that to the cart as well. In a preview of that cart, we can see that we have 7 items in the cart based off of all of our selections. And we can go ahead and check out. Checking out takes us to the pick list, and we can go ahead and print or email or submit that parts list for a final order submission. We can export that parts list as an Excel spreadsheet. We can also email it, including the Excel spreadsheet.
And then finally, if we wanted to, we could order and send it to our business system. Taking a look at other content within Arbortext Content Delivery, we'll navigate and we'll look at some of the technical documentation, the ski assembly and service. This is a structured XML document that was created in Arbortext Editor and published through Windchill, Service Parts Information and Instructions in the information structure using Arbortext Publishing Engine. All of the content is fully searchable. We can see it's been indexed and it highlights the word in which we searched on, which was torque.